Start by welcoming everyone to our introduction to Dell PowerEdge VRTX. We're really excited to present this great technology to you, and we thank you for tuning in. Now, some of you know us, but for those of you who don't, InterWorks is a total IT services and data consulting firm specializing in business solutions that remove distractions and improve efficiency, partnering with industry-leading names such as Dell, VMware, Ruckus Wireless, ShoreTel, and ESET. InterWorks offers the hardware and know-how for any IT need. Your presenters today are myself, Garrett Sauls. I'm a content strategist here at InterWorks. And the gentleman to my left who's going to be doing most of the heavy lifting today is our account executive, Russell Parker. Now, Russell actually comes to us from Dell, where he spent the past 2 years implementing these solutions, so he knows quite a bit about VRTX. Give you a agenda of what we're doing today. It's pretty straightforward. We're going to go through an overview of VRTX, and Russell's going to take us through a live demo of VRTX, and then we're going to round things off with an open Q&A session. Now, we encourage you guys to send us your questions, so while Russell is presenting, feel free to submit any questions you have about VRTX using the GoToWebinar interface. We'll then answer these questions after the live demo during the brief Q&A session. If you have a question that requires immediate attention or you just need to elaborate, we can turn on your mic and let you speak. Just do the little raise your hand feature. You'll see that in your GoToWebinar interface. And of course, you can contact us afterwards if for some reason we didn't get to your question, or you have more questions, or you just simply want to know more about VRTX or any other of our Dell products. You can contact us through the methods below. That's interworks.com. You can give us a call, find us on social media, or you can just email Russell directly with your questions. Without further ado, I think I'm going to turn things over to Russell.
We're going to be running through the Dell PowerEdge VRTX today. We're going to start, like Garrett said, with a brief slideshow, and then we're going to hop right into a live demo to try and make this as interactive as possible. So, some of the IT concerns: complexity, inefficiency, IT rigidness, the old boundaries of physical servers and physical footprint, higher cost as you expand. I'm not going to read all these slides to you. Most of you out there know the IT struggles and the roadblocks that we're dealing with today. So PowerEdge VRTX addresses a lot of these and can address a lot of different IT needs from a workload standpoint as well. So the VRTX is a truly revolutionary solution, first of its kind, brought to the marketplace by Dell, fully integrated, easy to manage, optimized for the remote office, for the data center, can be very versatile, has very multiple use cases. So the dimensions, the acoustics, the secure bezel on the front all make it ideal for a remote office location where you don't necessarily have a server room or a data center per se. It's virtualization ready, very scalable. It's got integrated storage, servers, and networking all in a single box. So we're just going to take a look at some of the physical features here. Like the M1000E blade chassis from Dell, it does come with the LCD display screen on the front for easy management without even taking off the bezel. On the rear, you're going to see dedicated remote management ports for the CMC, for the chassis management controller. There's 8 external PCIe slots that can be mapped to individual blades. There is an option of up to 4 power supplies, all with standard plugs, so there's no special power concerns. It can run 120 or 208, but there are no special power requirements out of the box. And 4 hot plug redundant blowers that keep the acoustics down and make it office livable. On the front, you'll see your standard KVM ports along with a shared DVD, which is optional. We've got 4 half-height server slots for up to 4 server nodes. All of those servers have access to the shared storage, which can come configured in either 12 3.5-inch hard drives or 25 2.5-inch hard drives. That gives you up to a total of 48 raw terabytes capacity capabilities. The two server nodes that are available currently to be installed and shipped with the VRTX are the PowerEdge M620 and the PowerEdge M520. These are 12th generation servers, both dual processors. They now can also include the in the M620 Intel's latest version 2 processors, the Ivy Bridge processors. Those the value set that will be compatible with the M520 will be coming out, I believe, later this year. Both of those can be configured with hard drives internal in the blade or with a diskless configuration and a boot from redundant SD module. So very versatile in configuration for the servers as well. The shared storage is truly shared. What the VRTX does is it virtualizes the PCI traffic so it can share the storage between all 4 blades. You also have the ability to pin a specific RAID set or a specific volume to an individual blade. We'll go through that a little bit more in the demo, a little bit more in depth. Anything from SSD to nearline SAS hard drives can be mixed and matched in here, so you're not confined to just a single hard drive type, size, or speed. The Dell Open Manage Essentials console, we'll go through a little bit of this in the demo as well. Pretty much the same setup as the standard 12th generation Dell rack servers or tower servers from a management standpoint. All the blades include the iDRAC controller, which can be accessed directly from the CMC. We will go into that a little bit as well. One thing that's been added to the chassis management controller for the VRTX is a geographical view. This can give you a map of multiple VRTXs and where they reside throughout the country or throughout the globe. Also giving you, as you can see in the small picture, a quick health status. It'll be green, yellow, or red. Hovering over those would give you a little bit of brief health information. Clicking on them gets you to that individual VRTX's chassis management controller GUI so that you can begin to work on the issue. The PowerEdge VRTX also comes with a integrated 1 gig switch. So we've got the 8 flexible PCIe slots, which can be mapped to individual blades. We'll go through that as well. And then we've also got the option for the integrated switch, which currently is a 1 gig internal switch module. It has 16 internal ports, 4 for each blade, and 8 external ports. It's a fully functioning layer 2 1 gig switch. The VRTX can also be configured with a 1 gig pass-through module as well. So as you can see, as we've gone through a little bit of this, very easy to tailor to any specific configuration. It can be configured as a 5U tower or a 5U rack mount or a tower configuration. Again, it can go with 12 3.5-inch drives or 25 2.5-inch drives. Come with an integrated 1 switch and obviously up to 4 nodes. Very, very versatile configuring. Some of the benefits, some of the use cases we've seen for these are VDI deployments, siloed applications that need multiple compute nodes and shared storage, but maybe want to be kept out of the general pool of production environment. Branch office, remote office locations, or small office locations that don't have the infrastructure to run a full environment of server, storage, networking equipment. This is a great fit for those types of scenarios. So before we jump into the Q&A, I am going to switch to my second monitor, and hopefully everybody can see the chassis management controller. So what you're looking at is just a standard Vertex with 2 server nodes. 5 hard drives are popular. It looks like they've got 6 hard drives populated. This main page is just your chassis overview page. It's going to give you the general information, critical alerts, informational messages, the status of the overall chassis itself. As you can see, it has a very familiar, very user-friendly feel to it. It has the tree on the left and tabs at the top. Some quick links down at the bottom left here that you can see. So there's many different ways to get to different areas within the chassis management controller. We'll start with power. And this is a Vertex running in the Austin data center, so we are linked in remotely. So the power is going to give you an overall view. You can set, you can look at real-time energy statistics, power statistics, and you can set actual power limits from here. So back to the chassis overview. As you can see, it's got a graphical output of everything here. Hovering over anything will give you a brief status and give you information about either the server node or the storage components. As you can see, with the option of configuring, you can go with minimal power supplies if you're only starting with 2 server nodes. These are hot plug and field upgradable, so they can be upgraded in the future as you add server nodes or as you add storage. Is a look at just the integrated 1 gig switch module, which we'll go into a little bit further, and obviously the blowers on the back end. These are the PCIe slots. We have 2 PCIe slots populated. These can be mapped on a 1-to-1 basis with each server node, and we'll go through that here in just a second as well. Here's the inside of the chassis. CMC slot 1. As you can see, there is a second slot for chassis management controller. This one for demo purposes is set up non-redundantly, but you can set up a redundant chassis management controller. The health of your fans, as you can see, appropriate power management. They're only spinning and using as much power as necessary for the 2 blades and the storage that the chassis contains currently. Here's the shared PERT card, which is the means to which the blades will be sharing the storage. So let's hop into the server overview. While that's pulling up, we can hop over into the Open Manage Essentials. As it pulls up, we'll hop back. Here's your server overview. We've got obviously 2 M620s. You can go into each individual server. And it'll give you the overall status, your jump to links here to get you to anywhere on the page. From this page, you can launch directly into the individual server's iDRAC, which, if you're familiar with PowerEdge servers, is the Dell Remote Access Controller, or iDRAC, Intelligent Dell Remote Access Controller. And from here, it's just like the management of any other server. You can cycle the power on and off. You can view logs. You can reset the iDRAC. You can launch the virtual console and actually manage the server remotely as well. This pulls up. While that pulls up, we'll just come back into the Open Manage Essentials. And this has got everything they have in their lab by IP address. So here's the demo Vertex. As you can see, discovered and inventoried. We've got 2 servers and only 1 CMC. So back to the chassis management controller. As you can see, you can do everything within the server that you can with a normal rack server or an iDRAC via the chassis management controller without really leaving the same pane of glass. Just hops you into the iDRAC, and then from there you can launch the virtual console and manage the server. We'll take a look at the I/O module overview. Same thing here. You're going to have the 1 gig Ethernet switch. Straight from this console, you can launch the GUI for the switch itself. This will allow you to manage the switch, set policies, cycle ports on and off. It's a fully functioning, as I said before, fully functioning layer 2 1 gig switch. So the management is going to look obviously very similar to Dell PowerConnect switch, if you're familiar with those. The M620s come with a 10 gig onboard daughter card, so that's why you see the internal ports. There's only 2 being used. They auto-negotiate down to 1 for this 1 gig switch. That's why only 2 of the 4 internal ports on those 2 server slots are being used. The M520 comes with a 1 gig onboard card, so it would be using all 4 of those ports. On the roadmap is a 10 gig switch module. I do not have any information on when that will be actually released. So as you can see, same familiar look, ports where you can configure jumbo frames, do any port or lag configurations, enable spanning tree, set up your VLANs, fully functioning layer 2 switch as said before. This page just gives you, your further overview of the switch without hopping into the GUI. Like I said before, there's several different methods of getting to different areas of the chassis management controller. So everything is built to be user-friendly and allow you to get to it from multiple areas. In the PCIe overview, you're going to see all 8 slots. There are 3 full-height slots and 5 half-height slots. Those can all be mapped on a one-to-one basis. We're going to go through that. Opening will give you the status and the health check of each PCIe adapter. This Vertex chassis has 2 10 gig dual-port adapters. You can do anything from 1 gig NICs, 10 gig NICs, SAS HBAs, any PCIe card can be mapped on a one-to-one basis. You just have to remember you only have 3 full height slots available, but you have 5 half heights. So we'll hop into setup. As you can see, this is not mapped. It's powered off, so the first thing we're going to do is map it. That operation is successful. It will give you a notice that it is. Slot 6 and map this one to the second server. As you can see, they're still powered off, but they're now mapped to each individual server slot. So now we'll take a look at the storage. This is shared storage between all 4 server nodes, or you can also map an individual server node to an individual RAID set or an individual virtual disk. This gives you the overview of your physical disks that we have installed, the controllers, any recently logged events. As you see, you can hop to the controllers by going to the left tree or just simply clicking controllers as I did. You go to setup. Properties will give you an overview as usual. Go to physical disks. This gives you the option of grouping them by controller or grouping them by enclosure or grouping them by virtual disk if you happen to have virtual disks already set up. They currently have no virtual disk set up on this machine, so the status of all of them are going to be ready. They're all unassigned. You can set any disk in the Vertex chassis as a global hot spare. We only have a single type of disk in this demo chassis, so the only option is global hot spare. If there were different types of disks, you would be able to set specific hot spare. Enclosure is just going to give you an overview of the enclosure, kind of the same as the initial first page of the storage. So we're going to create a virtual disk. We're going to use the shared controller. You can name it or use auto naming. Choose your RAID set. Let's go for choose your read and write policies and any cache policy. Select which physical disk you would like to include. We're just going to include all of them and create a large RAID 5 volume. Or RAID set. And the operation was completed. So we'll go back over here. And we've got our virtual disk. We can rename, edit any policies from here. Now, if we want to assign this virtual disk, we want to give full access. And that has been assigned to virtual adapter 1. So we'll go to our storage overview. Now we have one virtual disk. You've got your recently logged events that we created a disk. We've got our total used capacity within the chassis, so we're using all the hard drives within the chassis. And the server is giving me a little bit of trouble trying to sign in. Or I would assign that to a hard drive letter in the server. So here is our virtual adapters. We've already mapped our virtual disk to virtual adapter 1. So we're going to map virtual adapter 1 to slot 1, which is the first M620, and slot 2, the second one. We're going to map virtual adapter 2. Down below me, you'll see the option for single assignment, which allows a virtual disk to be assigned to a single virtual adapter at a time. We're going to want to select multiple assignment. This is going to allow us to assign that virtual disk to both of the virtual adapters so that both servers can see our RAID 5. Now we'll go back to our virtual disk. We've already assigned this to virtual adapter 1. Now we're going to add virtual adapter 2 now that it is mapped to the second server. And for a virtual or clustered environment, for example, both of those M620s will now have full read and write access to the RAID 5 that we have created. like I said, if their server console wasn't giving me a fit, I would hop in and show. While I'm working on that, do we have any questions in the queue?
Yeah, we do actually. Let's just jump to our first one while you're figuring out that. Our first question is this recommended for FCOE configurations?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
Sure. They were asking, is this recommended for FCOE configurations?
For fiber channel over Ethernet?
Correct.
The option can be, I mean, you can add the PCIe cards and map them to the server the same way with anything. So we've seen this where they have had HBAs or NICs mapped to a fiber channel or a 1 gig or a 10 gig storage area network outside of the Vertex, so that whether it's a development environment or a siloed application or anything like that, they still have access to the central storage for backup or for any other purposes.
Great. Got another question here. Someone is wanting to know, is there a 10 GBE option?
I'm sorry, repeat that again?
Sure. Is there a 10 GBE option? 10 gigabytes E.
For the internal switch, not currently. It is on their roadmap for an internal 10 gig option.
Great. Another question here is asking, can the shared storage be extended with DAS?
It cannot. That is a short answer. It cannot. There is no method of externally extending the shared storage currently. Storage can be added via HBAs. Direct attached storage can be added to individual server nodes via HBAs in the PCIe slots, but currently there is no method of extending the shared storage, and it is not on the roadmap as far as I know.
Okay. No luck signing in yet, or do you want to go ahead and take another one while you're trying to figure that out?
I'm trying right now. There we go.
Excellent.
So we're hopping into the server manager, I believe, of slot 1. And as you can see, you've got all the features and functionality of Server 2012. So let's go to our storage. Looks like their password is about to expire on this. And this cursor, I will apologize, is bouncing around on me. And making it a little hard to grab what I'm trying to do. So it's not picking it up yet. It's seeing the internal storage, but it's not picking up the new. It's not picking up the new storage. So let's return to questions while I'm trying to refresh that. Garrett, do we have any additional questions?
Yeah. Our first one is, what server models are available for the VRTX chassis?
Currently, it's the M520 and the M620, both dual socket half-height servers. The M520 has 12 memory slots, while the M620 has 24 memory slots. So with the M620, you've got a total footprint of just about 3/4 of a terabyte, about 768, I believe, is the number.
Gotcha. Okay, our next question asks, how is the storage shared between all 4 servers?
So it's shared via the shared PERC controller, which is an LSI PERC RAID controller. As you can see, when we were assigning virtual adapters, what Dell has done in the VRTX is virtualize the PCI traffic. So they have assigned virtual adapters to each slot, and then you can assign that shared PERC to multiple virtual adapters. So each server has a virtual adapter that connects with the shared PERC. The shared PERC controls the storage.
Gotcha. So we've got 2 more questions here. Do you want to go ahead and answer another one, or?
Yeah, go ahead. This,
okay.
For some reason, this server isn't, when I rescan the disk, is not picking up the storage yet.
That's okay. Our next question asks, what parts are field replaceable or upgradable?
Good question. So everything, not everything, but all of your standard parts as same parts as your standard rack servers on the chassis are hot plug and hot swappable, like your power supplies, the blowers, the fans inside are field replaceable. I do not believe they're hot swappable. Trying to think of anything else on the chassis that would be field upgradable or field replaceable. The switch module will be field upgradable because it is just modular. Obviously, a second chassis management controller can be ordered. It would take some downtime to put it in. PERC controllers are field upgradable or field interchangeable with downtime. And that would be about it.
Great. All right. The last question we have in the queue is asking, are there any single points of failure within the VRTX?
Currently, the only single point of failure would be the shared PERC card. I'm going to go back to the chassis management overview to help answer this question. So it is a single PERC, shared PERC card, just as you would have in a standard rack server. So it can be considered currently a single point of failure. As you can see, once this refreshes, on the internal view of the chassis itself, As that pulls up, well, right now you can see there are 2 shared PERC slots. Currently, the Vertex ships with only 1 shared PERC controller. There is a firmware upgrade coming that will allow you to have both slots populated and run an active passive shared PERC. So the answer is the PERC currently is the single point of failure. On the roadmap in the very near future, from what I hear, is the firmware update that will allow you to add the second PERC controller and remove that single point of failure.
Great. So Russ, let's go ahead and move into a brief scenario, since I'm not sure if we'll be able to find out any more on that demo. And we're all out of questions, too.
Hey, I was going to apologize to everybody. I would walk through assigning the volume to the server and giving it a letter and showing the second server, but for some reason, when I rescan, it's not showing it. So we can hop into a scenario.
Great. So I'm just going to switch over to my screen right now.
Yep.
I've got the scenario pulled up.
Perfect.
All right. So if you can see my screen, Russell, the scenario we have is that of a small legal office. And the scenario is a growing legal practice continues to add new staff and needs a more flexible IT solution that supports the growing practice. Specifically, they need to improve collaboration between associates and clients, improve case reporting and archiving, and ensure confidentiality of client information.
So as you can see, some of the problems there are limited space, taken up by hardware sprawl, and the need to adopt an IT platform that can grow with the business, boost systems uptime, enhance client service with faster, more reliable access, and reduce the noise in the office. So Vertex is a perfect solution for something like this. Your IT floor space is reduced dramatically. You don't have a full one-use switch. You don't have 1 or 2-use servers, 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 of them. You don't have multiple UPSs, multiple noisy blowers trying to keep the room cool. So frees up a lot of space for other purposes of the business, especially when you're growing. Easy compute and storage scalability. As you can see, the Vertex we demoed had 2 compute nodes. With an M620, you can get up to 12 cores per socket, which is 24 cores per server node. As you can see, that can grow with 4 server node capability. The storage up to 48 terabytes raw, and you can start with as few as 3 hard drives within the configuration and grow from there.
Great.
So, go ahead.
I was just saying that's great. It's great. Let's go ahead and move on to another scenario, unless you have anything else on that one.
No. The only other thing would be the easy management and the geographical view if you've got multiple offices with this scenario.
Great. All right, our next scenario is that of a regional healthcare organization. The scenario is a growing regional practice needs to meet compliance requirements for protecting patient information, increase collaboration for referrals, implement electronic records, and improve care and electronic access for patients.
Sorry about that, muted myself. So this is another one trying to overcome hardware sprawl, accommodate large data growth, and be flexible. control operational expenses by enhancing the productivity of a very small staff, ensure delivery of patient care, so ensure your clients, your customers are happy and have no issues, downtime, and to implement virtualization to control the expenditures that come along with the growth of this kind of business. So the Vertex scalability is great here. Avoids costs of possibly having to relocate, having to find something that can accommodate more space or power needs or cooling needs. The secure storage capacity, which traps that storage, it's only available to those 4 blades, can be very nice for a siloed application for a healthcare office that needs to have total control and lockdown of those records and make sure that they're not shared by any other servers or anyone else on the network. Unified systems management, again with the Open Manage Essentials, the geographical view, allowing at-glance detection of any issues, remote systems management, remote server management. One of the things to remember is this hardware is certified by Dell, and we have some technical documents that we can put on our website, or if you want to request them from me, I believe my information was in the beginning of the presentation. Shoot me a note afterwards. These are certified and tested for virtualization. They can even be pre-configured and drop-shipped in a clustered with a clustered hypervisor. So lots of things to remember if you're considering one of these scenarios where remote management is a key, easy deployment is a key, and virtualization is a key.
That's great. Well, if that's all we have on those scenarios, Russell, I think we can go ahead and wrap this up. Again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the webinar. Like we said in the presentation, if you have any questions or want to know more about Vertex or any other of our products, feel free to contact us online at www.interworks.com. Shoot us a call, find us on social media, however you want to get in touch with us. With that said, I think that's all we've got. Thanks for tuning in.
The organizer